And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of Game Rivals. I am one of your hosts, Maximilian X, together, as always, with my co host, the PlayStation man himself, the guy who would say, Xbox what? More like Xbox nah, Sean Templar. How's it going, Sean?
I'm good. I'm good. I don't know if that's accurate about the Xbox, but we'll just have to find out later in this
Oh,
episode.
we have to give them a little bit of spice, every once in a
I
while.
know you like that spice, as you always refer to it.
Yeah, you have to kick it off with some good vibes because wow, we have got a lot to talk about. A lot of stuff that just came out of nowhere, a lot of stuff that was the worst kept secret, and and even a little bit of stuff that just made sense. But if you think about it, it's like, why was that not done sooner?
I think this
So,
is one of the like these last 2 weeks, maybe particularly like this week. I
yeah,
think it's
this
one
week
of
was
the better weeks we had in all of 2020 when it comes to gaming because it was
crazy.
like a jam-packed 2 weeks with all sorts of stuff happening. Where you thought like, okay, I've just processed this, and then another bomb drops. It's like, oh no, oh shit, wow, whoa. And then another one. Like these moments, you realize it's good to be a gamer.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it is good to be a gamer. We've had a lot of downtime lately, but it seems that the fall of gaming is ready to go for most part. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has been announced. Actually, right after we recorded the last episode, we got bang the 35th anniversary announcements from Nintendo, the stuff that we've been waiting for months. And there's a lot of things that were there that we didn't expect, lot of stuff in there that we did expect, and a little something more that was a pleasant surprise. The biggest thing, of course, I'm not going to touch on everything. I'm just going to touch on the interesting stuff. If you want to learn more, just go to the Nintendo's website and you'll find it there. But basically, Nintendo's Mario's 35th anniversary is this year, and I think they were planning on something a lot sooner because what they announced makes no sense in terms of how long it's gonna last. Basically, any festivities regarding, well, most of the festivities regarding the 25th anniversary, specifically when it comes to video games, ends on the 31st of March 21, which makes absolutely no sense. But yeah, the biggest thing that people already kind of knew what was going to come, but not they didn't know in what way. Super Mario 3D All Stars, which comes with Super Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy, all uprest to for Mario Super Mario 64, that's uprest to I think 720p ish. It's still 4 by 3, which okay. Um, they did retexture everything so it looks nice and sharp. And they uprest Mario Sunshine and Mario Galaxy to 1080p, which is really nice. And I think they're all running at 60 frames per second. So it's supposed to be a very smooth. No, I think 64 runs at 30 frames per second. So it's still smooth. Um, that was the biggest thing out of this. They announced a bunch of other stuff like a Game and Watch, Super Mario Brothers edition, the Super Mario Brothers 35, which is the battle royale of Super Mario. It's done by the same developers that did Tetris 99, which is still the best battle royale, bar
I
none.
knew you were gonna say that. Oh my god. You know, the funny thing is I think that the whole Warzone community would disagree with you because Warzone is the most popular battle royale game out there right now.
Popular does not necessarily mean better. Does not necessarily mean
I
better.
wonder because
Just
if it's
saying.
popular, then it's something must be good because otherwise all those millions of people wouldn't be playing it.
Yeah, maybe there's some truth in there.
Yeah. I got you there.
But the other thing that I want to mention that they also announced was a new Mario Kart, but this one is very unique. You do play it on your Switch, but it also comes with an RC cart of Mario or Luigi with a camera mounted on it.
Oh, that's nice.
Why? Because it's an AR game.
Oh,
You can
nice.
set up your own Mario Kart in your own living room using these checkpoints, and then you just the first thing you do is drive the course that you want to drive. So it can be whatever shape you want, as long as you go through the four checkpoints, and then you can race not only against the computer, but if you have friends that own a Switch and a copy of the game and the cart, you can race up to four players local multiplayer, which is really cool
Nice.
because it actually responds to you throwing an item to either the NPC or NPC, I mean the CPU, or an actual player. You'll see the cart actually slow down and stop if it gets hit by a shell or by a blue shell, or it doesn't spin out, but it slows down when it hits a banana peel, stuff like that. The visuals are all on the Switch itself, or if you dock it in on the big screen, so you can play it through that, and you're just watching through the perspective of Mario. Mario's augmented, so it responds when you're taking sharp corners or you're getting a speed boost. So it's really cool. I want to see how this works because if you can use speed boost, that means that the engine, the motor in the carts actually have variable speed. So that actually, I'm kind of really curious to see how that works out. Um, of course, I want to see how it works out with Super Mario Brothers 3D and 3D All Stars. The only problem with that one is, well, besides the fact that it's $60, it's only available from September 18th, which is this coming week. As you're listening to this episode, it'll probably be out by that Friday. Um, it's only going to be out until the 31st of March next year.
After that, it's gone.
After that, it's gone. The digital version on the eShop as well.
Oh, okay. That's a different strategy than we're used to.
Yeah, this is why I feel that they were supposed to bring this out way earlier in the year so that you'd have way more time to buy it. But it seems that either they couldn't get it printed or enough printed, so they're doing a really short run of a 35th anniversary, which is
So
kind of a shame because
why take out the digital version? I mean,
yeah, that one makes absolutely no sense. The same goes for the Mario 35, which is only downloadable if you have the Nintendo Switch Online subscription, and it's only available until the 31st of March next year, which makes even less sense.
this is it,
Uh,
this is so not. I mean, like this is not what I'm used to from Nintendo. So this is it. Almost feels like a and that they're forcing uh how to put it. So like they're creating this market in which demand is only increasing by keeping supply limited.
oh, they did,
Yeah,
they
I
did
mean, it's kind
because
of like
now,
the NES and the SNES classic when they came out with that they just did like a limited run. And even if they didn't do a limited run, they knew everybody was going to buy it. But now it's like it looks like they're artificially jacking up demand by keeping supply limited.
yeah,
I mean,
it's really stupid because if you look at eBay, the scalpers are already at it. They're selling their pre-orders for two, three, four times the amount that it costs, which is ridiculous.
I feel like by doing that, you give scalpers only more reasons to do what they do
Exactly.
because otherwise, those people don't have a reason to basically exist.
Yeah. It's one of the weird things that Nintendo did in the past 2 weeks. The other weird thing that they did over the past 2 weeks is announce a prequel to Breath of the Wild, which nobody saw coming because people are still waiting on the sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
We haven't heard hide nor hair since they announced it, I think, E3 last year. So they are still working on it, but dang it, they've been doing that a lot. Like they just drop stuff. They're not announcing anything anymore. So if it's happening, it's happening.
Yep.
So they just dropped the announcement and the trailer, and I think I was done with work. I was on my way home. I was just checking my YouTube feed, my subscription feed, and then I saw Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity prequel to Breath of the. Wait, what? So I watched the video and I almost couldn't contain myself because this is probably one of the best looking Dynasty Warrior spin off games that I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot.
Always wonder why the first Hyrule Warriors was so good, and Dynasty Warriors kind of. sucks, or at least if you're not a Dynasty Warriors fan, it sucks. So where's that quality difference?
I think it's because they're using characters that people are more familiar with than, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which,
Yeah.
other than you,
Oh
Emperor.
wow, I'm the only one in the world.
Emperor SeanTemplar, who made China great, who will know who the characters are in Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, okay. Well, at least I had fun doing it.
But no, I mean, I think that's part of the reason. I think that's also part of the reason why they're doing spin-offs more than investing in new Dynasty Warriors. It's not like they're not doing them. It's just if you look at the Dynasty Warrior games, they've really slowed down
Yeah.
in original games and they've more been
Yep.
spin-offs, like Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, the Gundam ones,
Yep.
which yeah,
Because
weren't
I
that
think we only got two Dynasty Warriors this generation, whereas
yeah.
during the
This
PS2 and the 3 era, we
where
got a lot of them.
a lot of them because they're
Yeah.
probably easy to make,
Yep.
and they were using the same engine over and over again. This one, the Age of Calamity is actually made in cooperation with the developers at Nintendo, which I'm assuming they mean the Zelda team. So it looks great. The cutscenes look like Breath of the Wild. The graphics are Breath of the Wild. You get to play as the champions. You get to play as Zelda. Because it's a Hyrule Warriors game, but it also makes sense because the Age of Calamity is about the story that takes place 100 years before Breath of the Wild. The reason why you wake up to a ruined Hyrule in Breath of the Wild is because of the Calamity War that happened. And basically, this game picks up right before the Calamity War happens, throughout the Calamity War, and it's probably going to end with um, Link being put in the hyperbolic time chamber to heal for the next 100 years, and Zelda finding her power and sealing Ganon away. Spoilers if you haven't played Breath of the Wild, but you had what, like 3 4 years now. So yeah, the thing is though, it has spiked sales of the definitive edition on Amazon. So like everybody's now trying to get the original Hyrule Warriors just to see what the gameplay is like.
I never bought it, but I had it on my list of games I wanted to play when I had a Switch.
I have the Wii U version, so I didn't feel the need to buy the Switch version.
Hmm.
Ironically, I mean, I wouldn't pick it up now still because I got all the DLC on the Wii U, so I'm kind of like, maybe one day if they bring it down to like $20, which is never gonna happen, by the way, um, or someone buys it for me. I don't know, but I would love. Would love to. I'd love to retread. I would like to try and play that game again. I might even hook up. I might even hook it up to my TV again. Play it on my Wii U. But the gameplay itself from the original Hyrule Warriors was fun. I mean, it's a fun game. It's nice. It's a nice way to wind down after a long day of hard work and just being annoyed by people. You can just chill out and play that instead, because then you're mowing down lots of moblins and whatnot. And yeah, just kind of shut your brain off.
That's why I like Dynasty Warriors. You can just zone out and just button bash thousands of enemies.
Exactly. But that was not the only thing that surprised us this week because um so we have talked about a lot of rumors, right?
Yep, that's basically all
Especially
we do.
all we do because the the two guys that are bringing out next gen consoles are really 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 slow in announcing stuff. This week, however, someone forced their hand because their trailer for the Xbox Series S got leaked. And then Microsoft just said, "You know what? Whatever. Here's the information that you wanted. Here, happy now?" I mean, they took it in stride, which makes me wonder if it wasn't planned.
They were gonna do the reveal next week.
Exactly. They said that they were going to do the reveal next week, but were they? We don't know.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
Phil Spencer
they-
tweeted it out.
yeah, he said so, but is that really what they were going to do?
I
You don't know that. I don't know
I
that.
mean, like,
He's just saying that they were.
I don't see a reason for them to lie about it. I mean, what's the added benefit of? I mean, they could have said nothing, on
Yeah,
Twitter.
true, true.
Yeah, and the funny thing is first the Series S leaks, which is funny
Mm.
because I predicted like months ago that it was going to be called Series S. I should have made a bet with somebody about that. And then secondly, like came out with this, the trailer was leaked and
Mm.
everything in it got announced, and then the day after they came out with the release date and the pricing for the Series X as well, which I think kind of caught everybody off guard because nobody was expecting that, which is actually nice. So now we have a
But
series
I did say it was gonna be, but okay, they got me because I honestly thought it was gonna be,
599.
well, yeah. I mean, I was still on the edge. It was either 4.99 or 5.99 because the way they were describing the Series X, I couldn't believe that it would be 4.99 unless they were willing to take the hit. And from what I read, they are taking a big hit on both consoles,
I wonder
like
why
monetary.
they. I wonder why they. Um, if they're taking a hit, so now like they're not undercutting Sony, and I think
No,
Sony will never go to the 599 area because if they do, nobody's gonna buy the PlayStation. Let's be honest about that.
yeah,
So basically, it will be 499 for the disc version and either 399 or 449 for the digital edition. I think 399 because that way
I think, yeah,
they can say,
it's closer to Microsoft then.
yeah, I mean, like people can say, why buy a Series S if you can spend $100 more and you have a PS5, which is more powerful. Plus, you don't lose anything because it has far superior hardware on all areas.
And
Um,
as far as we know, the digital version has the same capacity and hard drive space, which the Series S does not.
yep. And I think from what I've seen, there's no proprietary expandable slot on the Series S. I haven't seen it on the back.
Oh, it's there.
Oh,
It's
is it
there.
there? I
Yeah,
didn't. Okay.
I think there was an unboxing that showed that. I haven't watched the video, but I know that someone said that in that video
Okay.
there the slot is there.
Because pricing on that has surfaced as well as a rumor, which is
Yeah,
$220 for terabyte, which is,
a
I mean,
lot.
it's a lot, but I think it,
220. You're buying the Series S for 299, and then you probably have to add the 200, the alleged $220 memory card, just so that you can have extra space, because 512 is not enough. That's what, maybe one and a half times Call of Duty Warzone.
something like that.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like
It's
if
super big.
it is within the PCIe Gen 4 range of pricing. So because that would be the upgrade option for the PS5. I mean,
Yeah,
the cheapest good quality PCIe Gen 4 drive is around 110 euros for 500 gigabytes. I mean, you'd say, well, 500 gigabytes isn't a lot, but it's still a lot more. And if you go for the 1 terabyte option, it's around 190, so 200. But you have more flexibility there. I mean, you could say, well, I have 800 gigabytes internally in my PlayStation, and if I add 500 extra, that should be enough because that's in theory 1.2, 1.3 terabytes, um, which should
that
be
can work.
enough. Yeah.
That makes it a lot more flexible for PlayStation,
Yep.
which is, I'm assuming, why they did that, because Microsoft decided to partner with Seagate on this one
Yep.
and make something proprietary, which means it's always going to be more expensive
Yeah, because
if
the
you don't.
PCIe Gen 4 SSDs are coming down more and more in pricing as that becomes more common. So at the
Exactly.
end, you'll be, because I was already thinking like, okay, maybe I should I buy one at launch? And I thought like, you know what, I'll just wait and see because Sony's also going to test out a lot of drives, so that way we kind of know which are really good to use with the PS5. So like,
Yeah.
you know what, I'll just wait out. I mean, 800 gigs is still a lot.
I'm assuming that they'll probably have a list of recommended drives before the system launches, though.
I don't know if it's before the launch, but they have confirmed that they will test each individual drive and also put it on a list of recommended drives. They said that during the tech reveal done by Mark Cerny like earlier this year. I just
Yeah.
don't know if they're gonna do it because he said,
Well, they have to do it. They have to do it around launch because it makes no sense to wait until after launch,
yeah,
because you're gonna have the early adopters that are either going to want to try it out to see if it works, or people that just want more hard drive space.
he said don't go out buying it now. Wait
Yeah,
till they
no,
come
not
with the
now.
list. Yeah,
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 obviously.
yeah. I mean, it's now all eyes are on Sony, and we've discussed this. I mean, there's a rumor that Sony's going to do an event at PAX next week because they have something.
Mm.
Um, I don't know if it's going to be that, but um, the longer they wait, the more it will harm them because pre-orders for the Xbox start in 10 days, so the
Yep.
22nd of September. And I mean, the
And it
release,
comes out November 10th.
yeah. And so now the rumors are floating that the PlayStation might even come out in the same week, so on November
Mm.
13th on that Friday.
Hmm. Who knows? Who knows? Um. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Sony, please just, just get it over with. Just, just, just get it. It was fun during the months of quarantine trying to figure it out. It's been months now. Microsoft has forced. You know what? Here's an idea. Whoever forced Microsoft's hand by leaking that stuff, do the same for Sony. Then we can get it all out of the way.
It could be that the guy that leaked it doesn't have the same intel as from the Sony side. I mean, I think it's Windows Central that leaked it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a guy from Windows Central. I forget
Yeah.
his name. Yeah, but we also got some more stuff. This time from the PC guys. So, yo, PC guys, listen up. Nvidia just dropped their new RTX 3000 series, and boy, oh boy, it's actually kind of surprising because there's a lot of stuff in there that I is reasonably priced.
I think that's what they're aiming for. So they've gone and
Well, they kind of
optimized.
have to, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, like everybody was expecting to them to offer the GPUs at the same price, but they've just kind of shook up that market by saying, okay, we're gonna for now they're coming out with three GPUs, which is the RTX 3070, 80, and 90. The 3070 costs 499 and is either faster or as fast as the current fastest GPU on the market, the 2080 Ti. As a reference, the 2080 Ti is between 1,200 and 1,700 euros to buy, and the 3070 is going to cost 499. So, like for the half of the price, you're getting the performance of the best card now, or maybe even a little bit better than that. If that's not enough for you, you can go towards a 3080, which is twice as fast as the previous 2080, and then you can go. That one is 719 in euros, 699 in dollars. And if you want, you can even upscale it from there and go to the 3090, which takes the place of the RTX Titan. The Titan was 2499 now, and now the 3090 is 1499. It's the world's first 8K GPU with an asterisk that I think Nvidia's betting a lot on DLSS to kind of get up to that 8K playable frame rate.
Hmm.
Because
Well, they showed it to a couple of people from the more journalistic side of the industry.
as
They
pre-orders.
even they even I don't know how they got him, but they even got Adam Sessler to try that thing out, and he was like, "I'm out." Like, I don't think he's done anything in the game industry for so long, like, journalistic wise. But they got Adam Sessler to test it out, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's from the review. It comes out Friday, 17th of September. The
Hmm.
reviews were supposed to come out on the Monday of the week, but they've been pushed till the day before. But there have been benchmarks and performance things that have leaked out. They are saying that the 3080 will perform 30% raw performance better than a 2080 Ti, but I think where all these cars are going to shine is in the DLSS RTX areas, because in those games it can go up to 70% performance gains if you have DLSS and RTX turned on. And for the people that
Nice.
don't know DLSS, it's basically a machine learning super sampling. So what it does is the game downloads a profile which has been through machine learning optimized, and then it renders the game at a lower resolution, and then it bumps it up to a higher resolution. Normally you would say that would create a loss in quality, but for some reason this magical solution boosts the frame rate by a lot, and also the details in the game by a lot. So in a way
Hmm.
it is I wouldn't say the future, but it is one of those things that will hopefully play a bigger part in the future. There's not a lot of games that support it, but for example, a game such as Flight Simulator would benefit tremendously from DLSS because that is basically the crisis of this era, and there's no
Yeah.
GPU out there that can run that game on ultra 60 FPS right now.
Well, that and you also need the data caps to not be there.
In some countries, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So Nvidia is on a roll. AMD is also announced that they're gonna announce some stuff in October,
Yep.
if I'm not
So they'll
mistaken.
do on October 8th. They will
Yeah,
do the Ryzen.
October 28th, right?
Yeah, it's the Zen 3 architecture. So that's Ryzen 4000. That's new
Yeah.
CPUs. For people that don't know, the AMD CPUs for the last few years, I think, have been the best bang for your buck CPUs. They're outperforming Intel in a lot of areas, purely from a price and performance point of view.
Yeah.
I still stick to Intel. I don't know why, but a lot of people are switching to AMD. From a graphics point of view, they will announce the new Navi GPU, which is supposed to support ray tracing hardware waste, and that will be on the 28th of October with a rumored launch date of November. So they're supposed to come out before the next gen consoles. So we might be
Hmm.
able to get like an early glimpse of what these consoles might be able to produce from a graphics point of view, because
Yeah. Yeah.
the CPUs are Zen 2 in the next gen console, so we won't notice it there. But it'll be nice to see how realistic all those fancy videos we've seen so far are actually real.
Yep. Also, if we're talking about graphics enhancements, there is one more rumor. I didn't list it here, but I just got reminded about it because it's been doing the rounds again. And I honestly, I'll just bring it up this time, and then I won't bring it up until it's actually proven real. But rumors of a new Switch have been swirling like a lot lately, and it's been driving me insane because it appears in every feed that I go to.
I've seen it.
Um, that is rumoring either a next generation Switch coming out sometime in March of next year, or what they like to call, that they've been calling that for years, a Switch Pro, in quotes,
Wouldn't
which
that be a funny naming scheme? A Switch Pro.
just no, not fun. Um, if Nintendo's gonna bring out a next gen Switch, it makes sense. They have to kind of keep up now because if we're going to go into the next gen, it might have a problem with that because the Tegra one is not going to keep up with that. But the rumor is that it's going to get a new chip in the Tegra line that is capable of doing DLSS. Which, if that's the
Wow.
case,
Okay.
well, not like high end DLSS, but just high enough to output in 4K.
Okay, that's nice.
So that would be a game changer for the Switch, and it would also bring it up to at least up to spec enough for it to run basically good enough, right? Because if it's gonna do, for example, subpar Xbox One graphics or PlayStation 4 graphics, I should say PlayStation 4 because PlayStation 4 is technically a little bit more powerful than the Xbox One, and it does it with DLSS, then hey, there's a lot to gain from that. So
I mean, Switch games
there are
never
there, yeah,
are on the level that it needs to look super realistic.
it
I
doesn't have
mean,
to, yeah.
I think it would be enough for the Switch.
Yeah, but for it to continue to get the multi platforms, I mean, if you really think about it, we were supposed to get Doom Eternal on Switch earlier this year, and then they delayed it because they said they wanted to work on it a little bit longer. And then nothing. They have said nothing about that game. The only thing that we know that is it indeed, it's still coming. The other thing that is going around is that there's apparently developers anonymously saying that they got word from Nintendo to make their games 4K ready, which, if that's the case, I mean, I'm seriously doubting that that's true. But if that's the case, that means no, not for actual 4K, but it would be something that would involve uh, that would validate the DLSS rumor, because then you'd be easily upscaling the games to 4K. even if the games aren't running at 4K.
I mean, I I think that it will probably happen next year. I don't see it doing being done this year because then we
No,
would
I
have
don't think
heard
they're
a
gonna
lot
announce anything this year.
of rumors from the supply chain.
Mhm.
Um, I would say that Zelda: The Breath of the Wild sequel would be the perfect game to showcase the graphics.
It would. It would.
But yeah, I mean, I wonder when Nintendo's going to give an update around that.
Yeah, I think also there's two reasons to Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity being a thing, and I think one of the things is that this is supposed to be a holdover for Breath of the Wild 2, so that at least people are getting something Breath of the Wild related while they wait.
Yeah,
And it's a cool way to do it. I mean, we're still waiting on the Metroid Prime 4, and they're not doing anything around that. We're not seeing any kind of compilation or collection or whatnot. So, and also next year, am I saying that right? Next year, I think, is the 35th anniversary of Zelda. So that would be a perfect coincide if Breath of the Wild 2 came out around that same time, and they actually did a proper anniversary, unlike what they're doing right now with Mario. Um, but then again, we did get the Lego Super Mario kit and the Lego NES set out of it, so
yeah.
that's something. And they're doing some cool stuff with clothes, so if that's something you're into, good for you. um, and then a few more things that we want to go through real quickly, because otherwise this is going to be way too long. Ubisoft, were you looking forward to it?
Yes and no. I didn't know what to expect, and then when
Get
I
it?
watched it,
You just ignored my joke.
oh, sorry, I was looking forward to it. Yes,
Yes,
uh,
because it was Ubisoft Forward.
I know.
I'm sorry, I'm cringe, I know.
Uh,
But yeah,
yeah,
what'd you think?
I'm happy they didn't show the game. I mean, they didn't show Assassin's Creed, and I'm kind of happy that they didn't because maybe that's the most obvious thing. And they didn't show Far Cry. Um, they showed Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh my goodness, I totally forgot that they announced a new Far Cry game.
I don't know if I'm gonna play it. I mean, I skipped out on the last two, so.
Hmm.
I was happy to see more Watch Dogs because I am actually looking forward to Watch Dogs Legion. And it really looks like it's gonna come out instead of it being pushed out again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there were some surprise things in there, like Prince of Persia remake of the first one, The Sands of Time. Um,
Yeah, a lot of Prince of Persia fans whipped that day.
yep. I mean,
A lot.
I like that game. From a graphical point of view, it doesn't look as pretty as you would expect. Maybe it's because it's still an
Yeah.
alpha. Uh,
Yeah, but it's coming out in like a matter of weeks.
it's coming out 2021, I think in January or something like
Wait,
that.
are you sure? Oh yeah, no, sorry, not matter of week, matter of months, but still.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
showed an alpha build, and then they also showed what was previously known as Gods and Monsters. It's now called Immortals Phoenix Rising or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That I told you as well. It felt really like a cross between Zelda Breath of the Wild and Shadow of the Colossus, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Everybody's making the Breath of the Wild
Yeah,
comparisons.
I think it has to do with the climbing mechanics because you can climb on
Among
everything.
other things, among
Yeah,
other things.
yeah.
No, seriously, I mean, down to the shrine, oh sorry, not shrines, the vaults, literally the same kind of rhythm. You do the puzzles, you get through it, and then the end there's a little MacGuffin that allows you to upgrade your skills, which is literally what happens in Breath of the Wild.
So yeah, I mean that. Um,
It's not. I'm not dogging it. This. If it sounds like I'm dogging it, I'm not. It looks really fun, and it has these narration of Zeus and Prometheus, which is really. They have this banter back and forth, and basically they're telling the story that you're playing through. So it looks like fun. The graphics actually look really good. Um, there's some sweet ass combos in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, and it's coming to Switch, so I can't complain.
yeah, it's coming out this year in December.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Good on them because I thought for sure that game was going to come out 2021.
Thought so as well. Because initially it was going to come out in Q1 of this year.
Yes, it was, and then they delayed pretty much everything
Yep.
because of what? Wild Badlands
Breakpoint.
Breakpoint. Yeah, because of that. So, and it looks like that was a good idea. That was the right move to do, apparently, because
Yeah,
it looks good. Like the name is fine. The only thing that I'm not really a fan of is that instead of making a memorable character, they're like, here you go, make your own character. And I don't mind customization, but it makes the main character look a little bit generic.
I thought because in the demo there was a woman in there as a character. I thought, hey, this is Ubisoft trying to make good for the bad stuff they.
Oh, this is definitely for it to make good
Yeah, but
for,
I
because
didn't
they
know.
could have just made a male character because you can choose gender.
Yeah,
They could have just made a male character and have him roam around, but no, they specifically chose to have a female. Actually, when the original reveal trailer came out, it was also a female.
yeah, but I didn't know. That was before I knew you could create your own character. So I thought,
Yeah, that was
this is
before we. Yeah.
like an Assassin's Creed Odyssey, wherein it's just a female character. And I thought that's them making up for it. But then they said, "Yeah, you can customize your character." And I'm like, I'm not a big fan of character customization
Mm.
because I hate it when my character is a mute. And in a lot of these games, your character is a mute, so he doesn't talk or say a thing. Like the Division has it. Um, a lot of games have it. I mean, the games that do it, such as Ghost Recon Breakpoint, just has a character that talks. Mass Effect had that. I mean, those are like super cool because that way you get a better connection because they always say, well, we let you create your own character so you can feel more connected with the character. I If my character doesn't talk, I don't feel connected with it at all because he's a mute. I'm not a mute. Yeah,
Wow. Okay. No offense to mutes,
no,
by the
no,
way.
no, of course not. But I mean, like, it's the logic behind it is strange.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's. Yeah, that's the only part of it that I'm not really 100% happy about, but it is what it is. And then they announced a bunch of other stuff which um
The Windows 6 Siege is coming to the next gen consoles. It's going to be 4K, 120 FPS, and apparently they're committed for
I
10 years.
honestly want to see that in person. The 120 because I don't have a TV that does 120 frames per second. I want to see that in person. I don't know how I'm going to see it in person, but if I because they're saying 60 frames or 4K at 120, I want to see it because that
To
seems
be
like a pipe
honest,
dream.
I think with the graphical fidelity of that game, they would be able to pull it off because it's not one of the prettiest games out there. I mean, um, if it was
Maybe that's why
something like
they're able to pull it.
yeah, I mean, if it was something like the
I'm
Division, I would
sorry,
say
sir.
the Division is graphically intense. So I would say,
Yeah.
whoa, Division 120s, whoa. But this is it basically
Hey,
feels
if they can do Division at 120 frames at 1080p, I honestly wouldn't care. That would be excellent.
yeah. I don't know. I think Division is. They said Division 2, for example, is backwards compatible
Yeah,
with
it is.
PS5 and Xbox, but they haven't said like
They
an
haven't said whatever enhancements it
yeah,
might get from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because the funny thing is, they also announced new stuff for the Division. That there's a game mode that's going to come out for the Division.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me see
I
if I
think
can
it's
find
called
it
Summit.
here. It's called yeah, the Summit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Summit. So
That's what it's called.
basically, it's part of the Warlords of New York expansion. You're going to try to clear out this super tall building that has 100 floors, and the higher
Mhm.
you get, the more harder it becomes with difficult enemies and stuff like that. There are kind of like checkpoints in there, so you can go back and forth. It looks cool and fun, kind of like a horde mode kind of idea. Um, it's coming out in 10 days as well, I think, something like that. And they'll also
Yeah.
bring out an update which is going to rebalance and improve and enhance and stuff like that. Um, they're also doing live seasons. So, for example, season three is just beginning, or is going to begin soon, and then they teased what's going to happen in season four. I won't say too much because if people haven't played the Warlords of New York, they don't find out about the plot twist at the end. But the end of the game kind of had a twist in it that I didn't see coming, and season four will continue on that path. So
Hmm.
I'm really curious to see how that goes.
All right. Excellent. A couple of other things that we did not expect. They and I can't believe they got this done. Those Mad lads at Ubisoft were able to reacquire the license to Scott Pilgrim versus the World so that they can re-release the game for its 10-year anniversary.
Oh,
That game was locked on Xbox Live when that license expired, so there was no way to rebuy it or re-download the game.
oh crap!
Now you can get it again, and it's coming to Switch. It's sweet,
Yay!
and it's such a it's real. It's like if you're into, it's a good year for beat 'em ups. I mean, between Battletoads coming out and Streets of Rage 4,
I saw
it's
that.
a good year for beat 'em ups.
I saw that Brawlhalla is coming to mobile.
It has, it
Oh,
has.
it has already.
Yeah, it has. I haven't tried it yet though. I think I downloaded it, but I haven't tried it yet. But it does support controllers, so if you have a controller, you can hook it up to your smartphone of choice and play it with that. Or you can use the touch controls. I haven't. I'll try the touch controls. I may or may not talk about it. Um, it looks like Brawlhalla. Again, it's a good year for beat 'em ups.
By the way, I forgot to mention, but um, the build that was shown of Prince of Persia was an old build. During some interviews, Ubisoft showed screenshots from a newer build,
Oh
and
yeah.
the game is apparently running on the Anvil engine, which powers Assassin's Creed. And there's a pretty big difference between the older build and the newer build. The newer build pictures look a lot better than the old one that we saw in the.
So why show the old one?
I think because these things are pre-recorded, so like
Oh
sometimes these things are like pre-recorded weeks in advance, and
yeah.
then the development on the game just goes on. I've sent you the link so you can have a look at it.
Basically, what happened with Halo.
But yeah, but I think in Halo the game is actually in a bad state. Otherwise they would.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have delayed it.
Because otherwise they would have just said like, you know what, tune in next week because we'll do a live stream of how the game actually looks.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And that's something bumming because I mean we found out yesterday that this I found out this morning that Kenna Spirits of Light or whatever the game is called,
Bridge of Spirits,
that
bruh.
one is
Yeah.
pushed back to the first quarter of 2021. And I mean, like the launch lineup for these next gen consoles are becoming more and more generic. So it's another Assassin's Creed game, another Call of Duty game, another Madden, another FIFA, and you would want
I'm
with
gonna
next
I'm
generation.
gonna be honest. Is one of the reasons why I don't jump on the bandwagon of PlayStation 4 or Xbox during the launch because most of the games either is coming out on the current generation, um, or on PC. So if there's something that I really want to get, I'd get it on something that I already own.
Yeah,
Kenna and Miles Morales were the only two things that were making me go like that. Almost feels like it's, well, that and Ratchet and Clank almost feels like it's worth getting it on launch. But I don't know. The Miles, I still love Miles, and I really want to play that game someday. Same goes for Ratchet and Clank. I'm actually really curious about how that works. But Kenna was the real, honestly, for me personally, that
game.
was the show stealer.
Yep.
And to me, if they need a little bit more time, I get it. It's not easy to develop games, especially if you're an independent developer who used to work in a, in a studio and environment close to each other. Because before this, they mostly did animation stuff. So I get that that's not, if you're pivoting from that to gaming, and then you have to pivot again because you have to work from home, it's gonna be a bigger challenge than they probably expected, which is what they said. So I honestly, I'm surprised that they're saying Q1 because they could have easily said until further notice. But I think they were close. I think they're closer to finishing up than than we thought. So they probably just need the extra couple of months to finish it up, and then release it. So that's good.
I mean, like the reason why I'm going for a next gen console is because I mean, Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs Legions, and Call of Duty are all coming to next gen. And I mean, that's instead of saying like, "Oh, I'll just buy it on the PlayStation 4." It's like, okay, you
Mm.
know what? If I'm gonna play those games, I might as well wait until the PS5 comes out, and then I might as well play them on the PS5. I mean, yeah, I can play them on PC, and I am thinking about upgrading my GPU to a 3080. I mean, so I could as well play them on PC, but it's Maybe it's me trying to justify buying a PS5 and then saying like, "Oh, at least I have games to play on it." Um, but it's I don't. Yeah, I don't. I'm like I hope Sony, because they said that Ratchet and Clank is coming out in the launch window, so that should probably be around like maybe January or something like that, or
At the
February.
latest.
Yeah, and I think like I kind of hope Sony the releases Horizon Forbidden West at least in the first 6 months of 2021, instead of saying like, okay, this is our holiday season game. But the funny thing is, and then maybe it's getting a bit ahead of things, but we kind of do need to know what's going to happen next year, because when those new consoles come out, people will automatically enjoy it for like a couple of weeks, and then they'll automatically switch to, okay, but what's going to happen for the rest of the year, and what's going to happen in the holiday season? Because now
See,
we don't know what's coming out in the holiday season.
and that's where Microsoft is going to win it because they, especially with the Series S, are going to be pushing Game Pass hard this holiday season to compensate for that. You have a bunch of games ready for you. If you get Series S, you can play all these games in enhanced resolution and enhanced frame rates and HDR
Smart
stuff,
delivery.
smart delivery.
Did you
Um,
know that the Xbox Game Pass PC is gonna go up from 399 to 999?
yeah, because they're adding the EA stuff.
Yeah, and it's coming out of beta. So um,
It was technically in beta.
yeah,
Oh
this,
wow, that's
this,
kind of
the
disappointing.
funny thing is they said we're adding EA Play for no extra cost, and then they're bumping up the price for the.
From three
And
ninety
I'm gonna be
nine
honest,
to
I'm
nine
gonna
ninety.
cancel my PC subscription because
Really?
as it is right now, I'm not using Game Pass a lot. So there are like these
Okay, fair.
instances in
Yeah,
which I'm like, oh, you know what, I'll play. And at 399, I'm fine with saying, look, I don't mind if I pay the 399, because 1 month I'll probably use it more than the other, or if I don't use it for a month, I'm okay with 399. But
yeah,
999, it feels like a different kind. It feels like a Netflix subscription,
yeah.
and I use my Netflix subscription a lot, so that's different. So when I heard it, I'm like, I understand the move. Unfortunately, that will automatically cause me to cancel my subscription because I'm
How
not
much does
looking.
it cost right now for Xbox? Like, if you get Game Pass, isn't that?
There are, I
Um,
think, two tiers. You have I think it's also something like 999, and then for $15 or something, you get the ultimate that has xCloud in it and the PC.
yeah, yeah. So I think they're trying to push people more to get Ultimate,
I might
especially
get it
with
for
XCloud.
yeah. I mean, like I might get it for another month when Age of Empires 3 remaster comes out, because I mean I want to play that. But
The only plus side is that you don't have to get the EA thing separately now if you do that.
that's a good deal, because I mean, um, I don't have EA Play any of EA Origins or whatever EA Play
Yeah,
anymore. But like, if you felt like in a mood and you want to play Star Wars Battlefront or or the Squadrons or whatever, it's an easy way to jump into that and play it. I mean, when Anthem came out, I could play it a week in advance because I had EA access.
yeah.
So like in the future, it
Are
would
they?
be nice.
Did they actually mention that those games would also then be added to XCloud or not?
They haven't mentioned that,
I wonder if they're gonna do that because that would be a crazy deal,
but isn't
and I wonder.
xCloud basically all the games that you can play?
No, there's a limited amount. I think they said that once XCloud launches, it's 100 games. They haven't. I don't think they've stated which 100 games.
Ah, okay. Because I thought, because you could use your own Xbox as your own XCloud, and I thought, well, if I pop in a random game, it should work off of it basically, because it's basically an Xbox that's running the game, right?
No, that's the free version.
Okay.
I think. I know. I'll have to do some research on that. Anyways, is there anything else? Oh, right. I haven't checked it out, but you could probably talk about it. So we'll end on that. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War also got announced
Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago.
it got announced. I think
Did we touch about? I don't think we touched
no,
upon it.
touch about it. No,
Yeah.
I think it got announced 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, we did. We did
Did we?
on the single player. Yeah, because
Oh
we
wait,
talked
yeah.
about how eerily realistic Ronald Reagan looked.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So this
Yeah.
week was the multiplayer reveal, and it really looks nice. They're going for a more um, Modern Warfare is like completely different than Black Ops because of the way the combat is, and not because of just the era. So they're focusing on different kinds of areas. So they're adding existing modes, but also new modes. Um,
Mhm.
one of the things that they're doing is they're adding something called combined arms, which is, for example, domination, in which you have to take over three points on the map. But they've bumped it up to 24 people, and they've added vehicles, so it kind of makes it a bit more fun and chaotic.
Mhm.
They have something in it called Fire Teams, which basically looks like a co-op thingy. I don't know if it's for sure, but that's what the impression we got. Weapon customization is a bit more expanded. Perks are more expanded. The time to kill is longer. So the time to kill is basically like how long it takes you to kill somebody when you shoot at it. And at Modern Warfare, it's really low, so it's really quick. And compared to Modern Warfare, it's going up considerably. So I think in Modern Warfare, it's like 163 in milliseconds, and in Black Ops Cold War, it's double that. So I think it does take a bit of used to getting that. So you'll have to put more bullets into someone. Um, I basically only play hardcore, so I probably won't notice the difference that much. A cool thing to see was that characters have health bars on top of their head. So when you're shooting at somebody, you can
You
see
can
their health
actually
bar
see it.
draining.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's nice. I mean, like, oh, okay, that way I at least know what kind of state he is or was when I got killed. Um, they have different types of maps. So they showed a map in Miami in the downtown neon streets, which really had this Scarface, GTA Vice City kind of vibe. They
Mm.
showed a map in Moscow. They showed a map in, I think, in Uzbekistan. So like a lot of diversity in maps and in environments. Um, the Warzone is going to play a big part. So your progress from Warzone will carry over to Warzone and Black Ops, and Warzone is also coming to PS5. So we will basically have, from what I understood, two versions of Warzone: the Modern Warfare version of Warzone and the Black Ops version of Warzone. I don't know how they're going to tie that in together. It's going to be cross-platform and cross-generational. So you'll be
Mm.
able to play on a PS5 against a PS4 player or an Xbox One player, and vice versa. If you buy the cross-gen version, you get both versions. The cross-gen version is 75 euros.
You can't see it right now because this is an audio podcast, but Sean Templar can, and I'm visibly cringing at that
The funny thing is,
staggering decision from Activision.
I looked on the PlayStation Store for the pre-order prices, but so
Mhm.
the normal PS4 version is 69.99.
You're
The
right.
cross-gen version is 74.99. So for €5 more, you're getting the PS5 version. Whereas a lot of people are saying, here's the next gen version for free.
Yeah, thanks, Activision.
Are you surprised at all? I mean,
Absolutely not. I mean, yeah, especially looking at what Take Two is doing with NBA 2K21. Yeesh.
I think if Activision were ever to come up with a slogan such as "for the players," such as Sony does,
Mhm.
everybody would just laugh at them and say, like, "You're never going to be able to pull this slogan off for the players. You
Yeah,
mean
no
for the
kidding.
investors or for the money or
Or for Bobby Kotick.
yep."
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, like one of Black Ops Cold War is looking really, really fun. The footage they showed was captured on a PS5. After
Mm.
the event, they did multiplayer with streamers, which were all playing on PC. Even on PC, it looks amazing. The game will get support for RTX and DLSS, so that's a really
Nice.
nice performance booster. Um, and yeah, I mean, there are like subtle things in there. So they've made adjustments to, for example, movement. So your character's movement is far more fine tuned. So, for example, now the movement is a bit more linear. So you like either run or you walk, and the sound is either hard or
Different.
soft. And with Black Ops, they've added like a more dynamic thing to it. So like if you move slower, the sound that your footsteps produce are actually lower in volume instead of just being really loud or really soft. So there's like
Yeah.
more finer gradual increase in there. And they've also done something around the movement system in which if you slide, you it all, yeah, the way they explained it, I don't know how to explain it right now, but when they explained it to me, it like made sense. Like, okay, this is far more refined movement, so it will probably impact gameplay in a better way. Um, I watched some streamers, and they did say that if you're used to Modern Warfare, this game might not be for you because the game lacks a bit of depth compared to Modern Warfare from an unlocks point of view, I think, or from a replay point of view. But maybe
Mm.
that's because it's in this early state. It's coming out on November 13th, so it'll be there for the next gen consoles when they launch.
Huh? They didn't move up the date.
So I think because Call of Duty is coming out on November 13th, which is a Friday, I think the
Hmm.
PS5 will come out that day as well because a lot of things generally have been that this generation Sony has been working really closely with Activision. Uh,
True.
and I mean, like
So
Assassin's
that so
Creed,
that means that Ubisoft has put all their eggs in the basket with Xbox then.
uh,
Because if they took the effort to move up Valhalla's launch date to meet the November 10th launch of the new Xboxes, yeah, I think that's what we're seeing happen. It's a weird shift.
yeah, I mean, you can't like Ubisoft is all in on next gen because when the next gen consoles come out, or let me just put it this Christmas or holiday season, you can buy Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Immortals, Phoenix
Immortal,
Rising. All
Phoenix
those
Rising.
can be bought on the next gen consoles as well as on current gen. Who knows? Maybe they'll do something for Honor and for Ghost Recon and for Rainbow
Well,
Six
we
Siege.
already we already know about Rainbow Six Siege.
Now, I don't know if they're going to do it
Um,
this year because it could be that they just do push it out next year. But if they may,
it's possible.
yeah, if they do all that stuff in that short window, then I think Ubisoft will profit a lot from next gen consoles.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious as to see if they will do something For Honor because that still has a player base.
Yeah, I mean that's the cool part to see that Ubisoft they have this two prong approach this generation in which they support a lot of their games that came out at the beginning of the generation, but they're also iterating and coming out with new IPs or with newer games at the same time.
Hmm.
Apparently, the commitment for Rainbow Six Siege is 10 years, and they're only at the halfway mark.
Yeah.
And I mean, For Honor is in season 4 now. Division 2 is in season 3, I think. So it is a great time to be a gamer that has old games that are being supported. It's not like
Hmm.
Battlefield 5, which lost support this summer only because it came out 2 years ago and it didn't turn out to be the game they hoped it to be.
EA Games challenging everything.
In a bad way, I think.
Hmm. We actually missed one from Ubisoft. Speaking of new IPs, they actually ended with a new IP, which is um, Extreme Sporting, the open world game. Oh, sorry, I mean to say it's called Riders Republic.
I thought it was Steep too, but it turned
I
out
honestly thought it was Steep too, and then I remember, wait, Steep is I think an EA game.
no. That's also a Ubisoft game.
Oh, it is
Yeah,
Ubisoft,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what is up with this? You already have an IP where you could have done this in, and you're just like, where? Well, we'll just make a new IP again. Yeah,
Typical.
and make it multiplayer open world.
Yeah, I mean that's
It looks like a lot of fun, though. I'm not gonna lie. It looks crazy fun, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of objectives. It's just go online and have fun with other people doing whatever kind of extreme sport you want.
yeah.
Mm.
I wonder if uh wow, I lost my train of thought there.
Sorry about that.
I don't know anymore. Never mind.
Yeah. Did you, by the way, see the post show? They showed Roller Champions. I totally forgot that game was a thing.
And I saw it in a pre-show, and I thought like, are people really playing this?
Playing this?
Yeah,
Exactly. I was like, what? Okay, apparently there is a player base for this. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. Or they're trying to get more people to play it. I don't know. But I totally forgot the existence of that game, full stop. Sorry, Ubisoft, but they're trying to turn everything into a games as a service, and that is kind of a problem.
but to be honest,
Not a bad
Not that
problem, just a
they,
problem.
they don't suck at it. I mean, I think EA could learn from them how to turn Anthem into a good game. It's just that,
You can learn a lot from a lot of people.
yeah. Did you actually know? Because that's something I found out recently, and it's not something EA actively throws out there, but that's actually a cool thing that they do. They have the EA Originals label, in which they
Hmm.
help a lot of indie developers with their games. But
Hmm.
basically, what EA does is EA gives them money to make their game, and EA helps them market their game. And then when the game comes out and the game starts generating money, EA only takes back the investment, no profit at all, and everything else that is generated on that game goes back to the developer. And
Oh,
they're
that's
not
it.
even actively saying this. This is more like, we have this. So I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they mentioned this, and I thought, like, and they all said, like, why is EA doing this and why aren't they talking about this? And in the end I thought, like, okay, maybe it's because they want to create relationships with developers, so that they, if they want to buy a developer, it's easier for them to buy it because they kind of know what the developer has done, so it's easier
Mm.
to acquisition them. But I thought, like, it's actually pretty cool that EA does this, and they don't openly say it that they're doing this. It's more like, oh yeah, we have this, and I mean, A Way Out, and uh the, what was the game called? The one with the character with the suit was made of
Fair.
yeah, and the one with the character of was made of the string.
Oh, uh, dang it, what's it called?
Untangled.
Untangled.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, not untangled.
Untangled.
No, no, no. Good grief. It came to the sequel came to Switch. What's
Yeah,
it
but like,
called
all
again?
these games are
Un.
from this label, and those are all good games.
Let me just originals. Oh, good grief. I don't. I think it was Unbound or Unwound or something. Something in that regard. Uh, good grief. What's it called again? Unspooled? No. No, that's not it.
Untangled or
Unravel.
Unravel.
Thank you. Yeah, Unravel and Unravel 2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one. But so, like,
yeah.
that one is also an EA original, and they don't make money on that. They just help the developers, which is pretty noble of them to do.
Which is pretty noble.
Yeah,
I kind of wish more people were talking about it. I mean, EA does not have to talk about it, but I wish that more people were talking about it.
yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's about it. We talked for an hour. Yeesh. Okay. Thank you for listening so far. Stick around, and we'll be right back with what we've been playing.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to our second segment. What have you been playing? As I always say, what have you been playing, Maximilian?
Well, not a. I mean, I played a couple of things. I'll just start with the stuff that I haven't been playing for very long. I continued my play of Trials of Mana from the Collection of Mana collection. So it's not the remastered version, the 3D version. It's just the classic version from the Super Nintendo, which is fine. It's literally the same story, literally the same translations. The only difference is that um, with the collection version, you still have the 2 player multiplayer, but I'm playing it alone, so what's the point in that? It did take me a bit to get into it again because I played the demo of the 3D remake, and that one they improved the battle system so that you can chain attacks now. And why can't I chain it? Oh, right, yeah, it's a Super Nintendo game, and they did not have that. You only have one attack, and it cools down, but the cooldown is at least a lot quicker or a lot shorter than it was in Secret of Mana, which really had a really big cool time. So it kind of made it, even though it was an action game, it kind of felt turn based in that regard. Um, but yeah, it's still good. The game still holds up. My if for those that are interested, my team compilation is Charlotte, Kevin, and Angela. So the little girl who is apparently half elf or something like that. who talks in this really annoying accent, which is made even more annoying in the dub of the remake because she speaks in this baby language and everything is a W. Oh, what is wrong? Stuff like that. Ugh. Just trying to imitate it makes my skin crawl. But it's in
Please
text.
don't do that again. Please, just that's just so
But it's in
awful.
text, so I just read it and it just makes me annoyed that I have to read her lines. Other than that, it's fine. Um, and other than that, yeah, I mean it's not that bad. What I also been playing is a little bit more of Fall Guys, and yeah, it's still weird.
I played Fall Guys too. Like 2 weeks ago, I started playing it, and I played it the other day as well.
Yay!
Fall Guys is really nice. I didn't expect it.
It's really crazy, right?
It's just, I mean, it's so funny
How
to
okay?
see
My the main question, of course, that would be on everybody's mind. How far have you gotten? How many rounds have you gotten into it? Like the farthest
round
you've gotten
three
so
is my max.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, I was playing it afterwards again a couple of times. I've actually gotten to round 5,
Oh, nice.
only to lose.
It's just, I like the chaos of it, but you can see because I was playing it with a friend and he said, oh yeah, there's like, it's funny to see that the community has found ways to, let me say, like exploit certain things in the levels. So there's
I
one,
knew
yeah.
it.
So there's one part in the level that you have to go up a ramp, but before you turn the corner to go up the ramp, there are like these yellow spongy like objects. So you can jump on that thing and then jump on the ramp. So you don't have to make the turn. So you kind of get like a head start on that part. So they're like some of those things, and like in one part you have these turning mills, and then a friend said like you have to get hit by the mill because when you do that it propels you
It launched you
forward.
forward.
I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, if I hadn't played with that,
There's some tactics that
yeah,
there's some next level tactics going
yeah,
on with Fall Guys.
yeah. I like it, it's funny to see the. It's just funny to see how the characters run. It's almost like they're being chased. Like, oh no, run! Ah! You know,
Well,
it's
they barely have any legs, so they have all they have is wobbling
yeah.
around.
It feels like a penguin. A penguin is trying to run. That's how it feels. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few of the games that I don't like though. Whenever you have to catch the tail is stupid. Have you done those where you have to nab the tail?
No, but the guy I was playing with, I spectated when I got disqualified, and he played a match, and that's really stressful because you're constantly running around trying to grab the tail, and then somebody else grabs the tail. So that's pretty, yeah. It's fun to watch, but I don't think if I could play it
Oh, it's not
myself.
fun. I've played that. I've played the team variant of that. The first time I got to round 5, that was the game.
Oh
So
man,
you have to grab the tail and keep it till the end of the time runs out, and then you're the winner. It's like I have never been able to grab a tail in that once. The team based one is also annoying because basically nobody will really follow you until the last 30 seconds. Then they'll all scramble like mad, and it's not fun because even if you get the tail early, you can still lose it in the last 5 seconds and still lose the point and get eliminated.
yeah. The one I don't like is the one that the when the level is just when it's this cylinder which is constantly turning, and then you have to walk between the platforms so you don't drop into one of them because then you're disqualified.
Played that one too. Also got
Oh man,
eliminated in that one.
yeah, there was a one in there that I watched with it's basically two teams playing soccer with a huge ball, and that's
Played
kind
that
of
one
funny.
too. That was
Yeah,
fun. That was
yeah,
fun. I We started out losing and then I got one in and someone else got another one in and then we just like blazed through
yeah. It was a
it. Because
yeah,
that was just like a matter of keep away until the time ran out.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was watching a YouTube channel a few weeks ago, and they talked about Fall Guys, and they said this will probably be the next streaming game that everybody's going to play and stream. It's gonna probably become a little maybe popular than Fortnite. And I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna become more popular than Fortnite, but it does kind of feel that it's between Fortnite and Warzone. It's between those two games that like everybody is like, oh, we're kind of sick and tired of all the violence. We just want something fun and laughable, and it's the most downloaded game on PlayStation Plus, for example.
Well,
It's just
obviously because it
insane.
was on PlayStation Plus, so I
Yeah.
mean, it's the same effect that it had on Rocket League, but on the other hand, I know that there are dedicated people that still play Rocket League, but you don't really hear people talking
No,
about Rocket League,
like the only moment that
which is kind of a shame because it's not a bad game.
I,
It's a
I,
fun game.
I think I have it on PS Plus, but I never played it.
I have it on my Switch,
I
but it
know
is crossplay, so
it
we
is.
could try and hook up on that one.
That is a go. It's going either free to play or it has gone free to play on PC, and then it's an exclusive on the Epic Game Store.
Wait, what is?
Rocket League.
Really?
I think I read that like a while back ago.
If that's true, then I want my money back.
Why?
Oh, that explains the because I updated Rocket League a while ago and I played it. I didn't really play it. I just updated it and I checked it out and the whole thing has changed. Like all the microtransaction stuff turned into blueprints so you can see what you're actually getting. So there's no more loot boxes in it because it had loot boxes.
So
Um
it's
they
um,
gutted that thing out. So it now has a battle pass kind of thing going on.
yeah,
It's crazy. Speaking of battle passes, Fall Guys has essentially a battle pass,
oh, I didn't know that.
which well, it's a free battle pass because you paid for the game, of course. Um, but it has seasons, and season two is gonna come out in a couple of weeks, a month or two, something like that.
It's
But they
gonna
did
happen pretty
announce
soon. Yeah.
yeah, they did announce season two, which is themed. I think they said the theme was medieval, so you can earn medieval outfits, and all the mini games are medieval themed. Like jousting and stuff like that. It looks really fun.
Yeah.
See,
It says here that Rocket League is going free to play, and it was posted on July 21st. They said it's going to happen this summer. Well, basically, summer's almost over. And when it
huh?
does happen, it will be exclusively on the Epic Game Store, the PC version
Wow,
at least.
shots fired.
Yeah,
Oh, I think I know why. I think they might be switching. I think because they used their own. No, they didn't. I think they used EA's online matchmaking system to do the crossplay.
yeah, because it supports crossplay. It says.
Yeah, and it's also one of the few games on Switch that actually supports voice chat through the headphone jack on the Switch. Which another game that I've been playing, which is Spellbreak, does the same thing. Spellbreak is pretty much it's no not pretty much. It's very similar to Fortnite, except you're using magical gauntlets. And I was talking to you about it earlier before we started recording, but it's actually really fun. I was talking to you about the fact that you can mix and match elements. So you start off with a base element. You can choose one of eight, and for example, one of the elements is toxic, and one of the other elements is, of course, the element of lightning. So you can use one of the attacks that you can do is you can throw a gas cloud and it'll stay there for a couple of seconds. But you can then use your electric. If you pick up electricity gauntlet in the map, you can use that to shock the cloud. You can either get a fire gauntlet, throw a fireball at the toxic cloud, make it explode. I haven't used ice on it yet, so I don't know what happens when you do that. But for example, if you use the ice gauntlet, you fire a ice bolt, which also leaves a trail of ice that you can skate over. So if you're trying to gain on your enemies, you can do that really quickly and get close and hit them with a few lightning bolts, or wait for the ice to melt, which takes about 5 seconds. Then it's just a puddle of water that goes straight to your enemy. And if they're still standing there, you don't even have to hit them. You just shoot the water and it travels through the water and they get electrocuted and they get shocked into place so that you can pelt them with more toxic balls or electric shocks.
I
You can
think
also there's also a wind element that allows you to throw tornadoes, and you can make the tornado whatever element you have on you, except for I think earth. I haven't tried the earth element with that.
I
An
think
earth
it's
tornado would be really cool.
I think it's free on the Epic Game Store, or at least I
It
think.
is.
Yeah,
It's
I
free to
saw
play.
it
Yeah, yeah.
coming by in my street. What do you call
It
it?
doesn't have a
Feed.
battle pass. That's the only thing it's missing. but you can't. It does have an online store, and you can earn credits. Um, there are missions that you can complete to get credits, but I haven't. I tried looking for, but I couldn't find anything that looked like a battle pass. So maybe that's coming. It's pretty even on Switch. There's still a bunch of popping, but it's Switch. So that would profit from a Switch Pro. Other than that, it's a really pretty looking game. I haven't downloaded it on my PlayStation yet. It's not that big a game, so I'll try and download it on PlayStation and try it one of these days on PlayStation. It's cross play and cross save, so I can just log in with the same account and it'll work. So I don't have to worry about that.
I saw the trailer, I think a couple of weeks ago, so that's why I thought like, hey, this game sounds familiar. Now I'm watching it on the Epic Game Store. I'm like, yeah, this game makes sense.
Yeah, because I think it was in I think it was in a state of play. I think the recent state of play
I
had
think so.
Spellbreak in it.
Yeah, because the
Yeah,
trailer looked really familiar.
yeah, yeah. So what else did I play? I think Spellbreak, Fall Guys. No, that's it. Yeah, and Trials of Mana.
Nice.
So what have you been playing?
I have been playing. I've been playing a couple of things. So I played Ghost of Tsushima and
Mm,
actually finished it last night. Um, I'm I'm really happy that I bought that game. It's really cool. I mean, I've talked about it a couple of times. I mean, it's just one of the better games. And as I said, I enjoyed Last of Us 2, but I was looking more forward to this game. I think when I think about it, I think my taste has. I know like I'm more of a single player gamer than a multiplayer gamer, and
mm,
there are a couple of multiplayer games out there that I just keep on playing. And the only gripe I have with multiplayer games is that you have to maintain it. If as soon as you stop doing that, it's really hard to get into it because then you probably lose or die often, and then you kind of get demotivated by it, so you don't want to play it anymore. And so that's why I'm more of a single player kind of guy, and I think more of a single player open world kind of guy these days because I just love the freedom you have. And
mm,
that's really nice about Ghost of Tsushima. You can just go anywhere. There's this beautiful environment. It's also nicely mixed, so it's not constantly green or constantly gray or constantly white and snowy. There's like a nice mix of the areas. Um, the combat system, as I said, is really nice. I just love these what I love about the combat system is that they've added this fluidity that you would see in a samurai movie, or like if you see a samurai warrior do a slash, it's almost like that they do the slash and then they stop for a couple of seconds to emphasize that they did a slash. And the combat system has that as well. So like when you fight and you kill an enemy, your character just stops after a slash to kind of to emphasize like, yeah, I killed him, or yeah, I cut off his arm. It just that little emphasis on it that I really love the fact that they were able to capture that in. And it's cool to see that they just have these multiple stances in the game because you generally get swarmed by all sorts of enemies that all have different kind of weapons, and all weapons ask for a different approach. So you constantly have to switch between your weapons and your combat stances and your tricks you have because you're also a ghost, so you can throw daggers or use a smoke bomb, or you can use your bow and arrow. So the combat is really mixed in there. That's something I love. Um, as I said, it's as accessible as Spider-Man. So there's a lot of side quests you can do, and you can just basically see them either on the map or as a question mark. So it's not like that you have to put in a lot of effort to find out, which makes it really nice. And then yeah, I get to the part wherein you have to do a couple of main missions when you're in the third act of the game or in the third large open area of the game. You can do a couple of main missions and the story basically ends there. And then at the end you have kind of a two choice thing you can do. I don't know if it affects the ending or not, but you fight with a character and you can
mm,
choose to either kill the character or to spare the character. I spared the character, and I don't know if it's going to impact the ending a lot. I kind of looked it up, and it wasn't like that. I would get a completely different ending. And then basically the world says, okay, well, defeated the leader of the Mongols, but the Mongols are still here, and we need to drive them off Tsushima, and then you can just go in and finish whatever you have left. Um, so yeah, I hope that they'll do a sequel, and I also hope that if they do a sequel, they'll just try to mix it up more with um, different weapons instead of just the katana. I mean, I get that they need to nail the combat to like, create a good foundation, but there are instances in which I thought like, okay, it would be really nice if I could just go prone and crawl away instead of just crouch. And maybe that's
Mm.
because I'm spoiled because of The Last of Us 2. That's really a nice mechanic in that game. Um, I mean, yeah, this game also screams co-op. I mean, you always have a companion with you in a lot of missions. So this game just screams co-op, and I think it would be really nice if you could play this game with two people at the same time. Do
Yeah.
these dual takedowns, for example, and stuff like that. They're gonna be coming out with a co-op kind of game in the holiday season called, I think, Ghost of Tsushima Legends or something like that, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
basically a four-player co-op. Um, Game in which it's free to play to all the owners of Ghost of Tsushima, and there are like different character classes you can choose between, and it feels a bit like Infamous Vampire. I don't know what one that was called. Infamous Two Festival of Blood.
Second Son.
No, I think it's called Festival of Blood. So on the PS5,
Oh, right, right. Sorry,
yeah,
you're talking about Infamous 2, not Second Son.
yeah. So I think
Right, right,
it
yeah.
feels a bit like that expansion.
Their
But
Halloween expansion.
yeah, because that one was called Festival of Blood, and you turn into a
Yeah.
vampire. And here they're going a bit more into that creepy mythical lore of Japan. So it looks promising. It'll come out in a couple of weeks, so I'm curious to see that.
So so taking down yokais instead of Mongols.
I think so.
Mm.
I am getting a really interesting message just right now. This is what you could basically call breaking news. Just came in, and I'm clicking on a link, and the link does not work. But the title
Very
of the link is Sony has announced that a PlayStation 5 showcase will broadcast live on Wednesday, September 16 at 1 p.m. PT, 4 p.m. ET, 9 p.m. BST.
Wait, what was the Europe time?
I think BST, British Standard Time, that's 9 p.m. So it'll probably be at
10 p.m.
10 p.m. here. It's also on their Twitter. Announced on PlayStation Blog, this showcase will feature updates on the latest titles from worldwide studios and our world class development partners. So we'll probably get a prize and a reveal date, a launch date.
Meaning that hours after this episode goes live,
Yeah,
you'll be learning more about the PlayStation 5 than we are able to talk about right now.
yeah.
So, have fun with
Maybe,
that.
maybe we could do like a bonus round. I don't know if it's
uh
something substantial.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'll see what I can do. But hopefully we'll be able to do something like a bonus round. Maybe not on the day of, but maybe a few days afterwards.
yeah,
But wow, okay, dropping those,
yeah. This is
breaking
like
news, breaking
yeah.
news.
Maybe you can look up one of something like that and just put it in and edit. Yeah, I mean, just like a friend of mine just sends it, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. So
Yeah.
yeah, basically that. And I just lost where I was.
Oh, you were talking about Ghost of Tsushima's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
multiplayer.
Oh yeah. So besides Ghost of Tsushima, I've been playing a little bit more Modern Warfare. I wish I
Mhm.
had captured it. I didn't capture it, but the other day I just fired up a session and I was just casually sitting on the couch and I played like 5 or 6 multiplayer games. And in all of the or 6 games that I played, I finished up first. And I get this huge kill death ratio, a positive kill death ratio. So I started to doubt myself. I was like, what's going on? Why is this happening? This never happened. Like I don't like to say this. Like I'm a good Call of Duty player. I'm an okay Call of Duty player. I don't like Warzone. I play it with friends, but like in multiplayer, I can shine a bit, you know?
Okay, okay,
But
okay.
I have my moments. So like when you play a match, if you play 10, you'll win 4 and you'll lose 6 or whatever. There's something like that. But this was like 6 and 6. I'm like, what's going on, you know? And then like in maps like Shipment, which is a really small map, I would end up with 70 kills. I'm like, what's going on? And I thought, crap, I should have captured this all. I should have just hit record and captured this all, you know? But yeah, I had one of those moments in Modern Warfare, like, oh my god, what's happening? Um, besides Call of Duty, I played Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I know you call it Badlands. Um,
No,
it,
I call it Badlands because that's what I legit thought that was the name.
I know. They added AI teammates because it wasn't in there. So I started playing it over again because I never actually played a lot. Thought like,
Mhm.
it's really fun with AI teammates. You can do things like sync shots, so you can just mark enemies and then kill four enemies or five enemies at once. Um, I am struggling with playing a game because it feels really different compared to Wildlands. Wildlands is really nice, and this feels a bit more rougher around the edges. I don't know if I'll put in some more time, but I felt like playing a modern warfare open world kind of game, and this was the only
Mm.
game I had. So who knows? And the last game I've been putting a lot of time is Total War Troy, of course. I'm in turn 170 right now, I think.
Okay.
And the cool thing is I was playing the game at 2560 by 1440 on ultra, and then I had 60 frames because I could play it in 4K, but then it would be medium and then the frame rate would go all over the place. So the other day they brought out an update which was around 8 gigs, and there were all sorts of optimizations in there, and now I can play the game in 4K 60 on high, which is really
Wow.
cool. Yeah, I was completely surprised by it. I was like, "Whoa, this is so cool." Um, yeah, the fun part about the game is in the early beginning of the game, because you don't have a lot of good units. I always try to build up my cities, make them really strong, and my armies, and I don't go on a warpath at the beginning. But the more you get to the middle end of the game, either other factions will declare war on you, or you just have to go to war because you can't just stand there and have the land you have. You need more resources. You need to feed the armies. So I don't know. I had this sudden streak in which multiple factions declared war on me, and I had my generals a bit spread out over the map. So I got a few blows and lost a few cities, and then I just pulled a couple of my generals back, and then I went into this streak of pushing them all back, taking back all my cities, after that I invaded their cities. And as I said, I only auto resolve if I know I can win it. If I don't know, or if I have doubts, I play it. So there was this streak of auto resolves in which in maybe an hour I completely destroyed the faction, and then another faction, and then another faction. And at the end, I was surprised, like, "Whoa, this is going really fast! I'm just taking over all these cities, and there's little to no resistance, and I am making my empire grow large." And the fun part is because this game is a bit more focused on I have the Homeric things on, so I get all these story missions. So now I got a mission that I have to travel to Troy with Achilles. Um, and so far, all the enemies I've encountered are like okay enemies. I sometimes lose a battle, but the Trojan soldiers are really strong. They're really focused on defense, whereas my characters are focused on offense. But because
Mhm.
they're so defensive, they have really strong armor, so they can really hold out for long periods of time. Um, so that's why I'm running into now that I kind of need to adopt my strategy and try to find ways to take down these Trojan soldiers, because it's a
Mm.
whole different kind of enemy, and that's really fun because it pushes you to play in a completely different way than just
Well,
create a.
there wouldn't be much of a Trojan army if their defenses were not good.
They could hide behind their high walls all day, but yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So that's really fun to see that, because now I've also have some alliances with Sparta, for example. So I don't have to worry about like the south or the north side of Greece. I now can focus on an all-out war with Troy, and in between, I'm just trying to take as much land as I can, because you need to feed the army, because you have so much resources. You have to keep in mind it just takes a lot more time. In Three Kingdoms, you just have food and money, and that's it. And here it's
Mm.
food, money, stone, gold, bronze, wood. And you have to make sure that everything is generating more revenue, because it takes resources to get those units, and it takes resources to upkeep those units. And in some turns, you have a lot of money or a lot of
Sounds
food.
low key like Civilization.
I think I haven't played Civilization, so I couldn't be able
We
to.
really need to play a Civilization. I'll have to look through my library which Civ. I think I had the last Civ game I bought was 5. You could probably. pick it up for cheap on Steam.
I think I
So
have Civilization on Epic Game Store. I have Civilization 6 on the Epic Game Store.
dang it.
It was a free game.
Wait. I'll have to check my Epic account to see if I actually also got that one. Maybe I did. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I'm liking it. I've also, um, as I said earlier, the combat with the units is really nice because you have this mix in light, medium, and heavy infantry, and I've found a way to kind of utilize them. It's also cool to see that, for example, chariots were overpowered as hell, and in the
Mm,
latest update, they've definitely changed that. So less focus on chariots, more focus on infantry. What I generally do is just I create a lot of archers, I put them on the back, I create a line of soldiers in front of them, and then I just have my archers just wipe out whole armies. And what I generally try to do is to have these. I have swordsmen called Aegean runners, which are really
mhm,
fast swordsmen. They can just run really quickly. So I have them either waiting outside of the enemy's field of vision, or I try to hide them. And then when the enemy clashes with my main line, I just have them flank around it. And then they first throw in some javelins, and then they just chop up the whole army in the rear. And and that's cool to see that morale plays a huge part in this game. So
mhm.
you can instantly just have the game of the battle turn in your favor or disadvantage when morale goes down.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. Cool.
yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. That's everything you played, huh?
Yeah,
Cool. Then will you take us out?
I will try to take us out. So, as always, thank you for listening. Um, we always appreciate you and your feedback. So, you can find us on all podcasting platforms such as Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast. If it's a podcasting platform, we'll probably be there. You can leave us your feedback at gamerivalsfeedback@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on Twitter at game_rivals_. You can reach out to Maximilian at Maximilian. We also have an Instagram account at Game Rivals. Fun thing is Maximilian threw out a poll there for, I think it's around the Xbox Series S or X
A
or whatever
very
you get.
bad poll, which I'm never gonna do again because Instagram has a weird way of doing polls.
Yeah, for some reason, if you chose PS5, because that's what I did, it said there was the wrong answer. I'm like, how can this be the wrong answer? The
I
right
think
answer
what I did, I think I just realized it just
was a
now is
quiz
that
or
I think
something.
it chose quiz instead of poll.
Oh, okay. But
So
anyway,
that was my bad.
that's
But
okay.
still,
Anyway,
really annoying to work.
you can let us know on Instagram which next gen console you're gonna get. Um, you can leave a voice message through Anchor. You can do that through the link in the description, or you can just use your Anchor account. But you don't have to make an Anchor account for the voice memo, and we might be able to feature you as a game rival. We also have a YouTube channel at game. It's
Game
youtube.com.
rivals.
It's just Game Rivals,
Yeah.
and you can find a link in the description below as well. And I think that's it.
Yeah, the Instagram, the YouTube channel, and where you can find us in our email. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
So, thank you for listening. Do you have any final words?
Please stop talking about Switch Pro. I'm so tired after 3 years of that rumor going around.
Why are you tired of the Switch Pro?
Because here's the thing. Just a real quick thing. I don't mind rumors, but if they've been going on for so long and nothing's been coming out of it, either it's the worst kept secret or it doesn't exist and people are yanking your chain. So, stop it.
But if it comes out, you'll probably buy it.
If I can afford it, sure. But again, I already own a Switch. If all it does is upres, then I can still play games on my current Switch.
Okay. On that note, I have always been and will always be Sean Templar,
And I will always be Maximilian X.
and we'll catch you on the next one.